Hey there, 7th graders, and welcome to an absolutely incredible journey back in time. Today, we're diving into a brand new explainer that covers a massive 500-year epic relay race through history. We're talking about the great Muslim conquests, starting all the way out in the deserts of Sindh and traveling right into the bustling heart of Delhi.
But right before we start, I want you to chew on a little historical mystery. How exactly did a giant catapult nicknamed the Bride, a red silk flag flying high in the sky, and a teenage boy change the map of the world forever? Seriously, it sounds like the plot of an action movie, doesn't it? But I promise you, it is 100% real history. By the end of our time together today, you're going to know exactly how these three totally random things connect.
Produced by Waqas Ahmed Shah, an educator and AI agents and automation builder for educators, traders, and startups based in Karachi, Pakistan.
Here's our roadmap for today. 1. A teenager conquers Sindh. 2. The wealth of India. 3. Rise of the Afghan horsemen. 4. The first Delhi Sultanate. And 5. History's next chapter. Let's get into it.
Section 1. A teenager conquers Sindh.
Okay, so what's really mind-blowing here is that number, 15. Muhammad bin Qasim was only 15 to 17 years old when he launched this massive expedition from Iraq right into the subcontinent. I mean, just imagine being in high school and someone asks you to command an army of 6,000 cavalry, 6,000 foot soldiers, and a huge baggage train of 3,000 camels. No way, right? But that is exactly what he did back in the year 712.
His very first major challenge was the heavily fortified port city of Dibal. Qasim's army surrounded the city, but man, the walls were just way too strong. Now, remember our opening mystery? Well, here's your answer. There was this massive Hindu temple in the city, and a local priest actually told Qasim a secret. He said if Qasim could knock down the temple's spire with the red silk flag flying from it, the city would surrender. So Qasim ordered his soldiers to fire their giant catapult, yeah, the one they nicknamed the Bride, right at that spire. Smash! Down comes the flag, the people of Dibal lost their hope, and they surrendered. Qasim then captured the city, settled 4,000 people there, and built the very first masjid in the subcontinent.
But listen, the teenager wasn't done yet, not even close. To face the ruler of Sindh, Raja Daher, Qasim had to cross the mighty river Indus. Now, how do you move an entire army across a massive river without any modern engineering? Well, he brilliantly built a bridge made entirely out of boats. It's like a giant floating puzzle. The whole army actually crossed safely, although one poor guy did slip on a plank and fall in. Once they were across, a fierce 5-day battle erupted. Raja Daher fought bravely from the back of a huge white elephant, but when the elephant's saddle caught fire, the beast panicked and just bolted into the river. Daher was defeated, and Muhammad bin Qasim took total control of Sindh.
So, here is the absolutely crucial point. It's all about what Qasim did after he won. During his 3-year rule from his capital in Mansoura, he didn't just fight, he governed. He set up this highly efficient system of laws. He brilliantly allowed Buddhists and Hindus to keep their own customs and ways of life, and get this, he even made Brahmin priests his administrators. He built masjids and collected taxes from everyone, including the jizya tax for non-Muslims. This fair approach was a real game changer. It sparked 300 years of Arab influence, leading to a vibrant mix of cultures and literally creating a brand new language, Sindhi.
Moving on to Section 2, the wealth of India. Now, we're going to sprint forward on our historical timeline. We started in 712 with the siege of Dibal, but let's fast forward to the late 10th century. By 998, a new group of Turkish Muslims known as the Ghaznavids stepped into power. Their leader was Muhammad, and he officially named himself Sultan. And Sultan Mahmud? Well, he had his eyes fixed firmly on India.
So why was he looking at India? Well, his court officials wrote him this incredible, glittering report. It said, India is full of gold and jewels, and the plants which grow there are those fit for making clothes and delightful. That report of immense wealth was basically all the motivation Sultan Mahmud needed to launch some incredibly daring campaigns into the subcontinent. Over his 32-year reign, Mahmud marched his armies deep into India. By 1025, he had captured incredibly wealthy cities like Mathura and Lahore, and famously raided the Somnath temple. But it wasn't just about the gold. Mahmud actually rebuilt Lahore. He even changed its name to Mahmudpur for a little while. He built a fort, he built a masjid, and eventually Lahore became this bustling, vibrant cultural center. Students from all over the world, along with poets and nobles, flocked there. It became a permanent, lasting bridge for Islamic culture in India.
Section 3. Rise of the Afghan Horsemen.
So unlike the Ghaznavids, who were Turkish leaders mostly focused on raids and setting up cultural outposts, a brand new power was rising, the Ghurids. These guys were fierce Afghan tribesmen and expert horse breeders from the hilly lands. And unlike the Ghaznavids, the Ghurids didn't just want to raid. They wanted to stay, conquer, and hold total territorial control, the whole shebang.
In 1175, a ruler named Muhammad Ghori marched into the subcontinent. He defeated the last of the Ghaznavid kings. And then, in 1191, he faced his absolute biggest challenge, the massive Battle of Terrain, fought just about 150 kilometers north of Delhi. The Hindu Rajas gathered a huge force against him, but Muhammad Ghori came out victorious. This was a massive turning point, guys, handing the Ghurids control over huge areas of northern India.
Section 4. The First Delhi Sultanate.
Now, Muhammad Ghori had conquered the territory, but he actually didn't stay to rule it himself. Let's quickly recap how the baton was passed in our historical relay race. First, in the 700s, Muhammad bin Qasim captured Sindh. Then, in the 1000s, Sultan Mahmud brought his armies in for wealth and culture. And finally, in the early 1200s, we meet our newest character, Qutb-ud-din Aibek. When Muhammad Ghori went back home to Ghazni, he left this highly trusted general, an absolute expert in military affairs, completely in charge of northern India.
And Aibek was brilliant. He pushed his forces to conquer Delhi itself in 1193, and soon expanded into Bengal, Assam, and Bihar. And then, a truly monumental historical moment occurred. In 1206, Qutb-ud-din Aibek officially became sultan. He founded the Delhi Sultanate. This wasn't just a raid or a temporary settlement, no. This was a massive, organized Islamic empire stretching across the subcontinent, establishing foundations of rule that would literally last for centuries.
Section 5. History's next chapter. So, what should you take away from all this? Well, it really is like a 500-year relay race. The teenager, Qasim, started it all by cleverly bringing down a red flag and bringing Islam to Sindh. The Sultan Mahmud sprinted the next leg, bringing wealth, poets, and culture to cities like Lahore. The horseman Ghuri took the baton and used his cavalry to conquer vast lands in northern India. And finally, the founder, Aibek, crossed the finish line to officially establish the mighty Delhi Sultanate.
But of course, as we know with history, the finish line is always just the starting block for a brand new race. The Delhi Sultanate is born, but how will they survive against the legendary conquerors waiting just over the horizon? What happens to this mighty empire next? Well, if you want to uncover the answer to that great historical mystery, make sure to like, subscribe, and follow for our next explainer. Thanks so much for joining me on this amazing journey into the past, and I'll see you next time.